Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we're always serious here. And today we've got a powerful broadcast for you because, people are saying, wait a minute, the stock market's up another 527 points, now at 26,269. I mean, gold over $1,722 an ounce. Silver strong at $1,572. Bitcoin strong at $9,500. Oil's even back to $38 a barrel. Is America's economy on a fast track rise, a V-shaped rebound? We're still in a pandemic with coronavirus. We still got cities on fire. What's really going on here? This is why you need a genius. You need a trade genius. And nobody better than Trade Genius Academy himself, Bob Kudla, to help us understand in this crazy year of 2020, what is going on. Bob, can you make sense of this?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Bob, for being with us.
It was a great. I'm kidding. So right. we're having a classic bifurcation of the stock market and the economy being two different animals. And I think you and I talked not too long ago, maybe just 3 weeks ago, and I was saying that. We're going to be out. It'd be more like a lazy L kind of a thing where we'll get a good pop here, and then this summer we'll see that not all the jobs are coming back, and then after we talked, they started knocking the lockdowns down, and you saw people coming out in droves. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong on this thing, and then all of a sudden we had this killing of this poor man, and it was like an orchestrated tinderbox that went off, and so it quickly got out of control, and I believe it got out of control. Look, there's righteous anger in a community that feels that they're targeted, but that wasn't channeled. The grown-ups in Minneapolis decided that, hey, maybe this is a way for us to embarrass the president or embarrass the people who don't vote for us. And it turned out from a protest to 170 buildings being burned down, and people who have ownership in that community lost all their businesses too. And a vast majority of those folks have public transportation, and they just basically burned out. Their ability to go shopping, and Target is a staple in that community because not only can you get food, you can get pretty much anything you need, and they wiped that out, and then they went after Walmart. So in essence, they were chopping a tree down and it fell on their own house. And then you turn around and you find out how orchestrated this went viral in all these other cities, and then you find out all these things that are being logistically prepared, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is a coordinated effort, and this is now an opportunity for them to basically try to, take all the good things that Trump has done, and he has nobody to be defensive about in terms of the African American community. Before he ran for president, he was lauded repeatedly in the New York City area by the folks that live there and work with him, and then he's done fantastic things for the African American community as economic growth engines. And then you had Biden with that disastrous interview he did, and the next thing you know, here we go, boom, we could paint Trump the racist. Russia didn't work, COVID didn't work, climate change didn't work. Let's hang the racist card on him because politically that's his most vulnerable spot, and so now that's the economic backdrop. So now what you have happening is that these cities are just been being hollowed out. We talked last time, I said, many of these jobs may not come back to the cities because you have people working from home. Now you have people scared to death, okay? And it's not just the looting. If you notice that the people are pouring onto the highways, and you get a car stuck and you're with your family, and then somebody starts coming up to you and whacking a crowbar, or God forbid you have the wrong bumper sticker on your car, right? And then you get targeted. You know, in San Bernardino yesterday, a guy was placing a Molotov cocktail out there. In New York, they were throwing Molotov cocktails at cops. You know, I can see people being burned alive, and so that has an impression on people. So now you're probably going to say, hey, not only am I going to work from home, I'm going to work from home in the suburbs. And these cities now are going to be in a situation where they're not going to have the tax revenue to fund what they need to fund, because look, they got to pay the extortion fees now that this turned into an economic disaster for these cities, and they're going to have to pay more for police presence, even though they're going to let the police do less in terms of enforcement. And then you have no taxes coming in because they burned all the businesses down or looted them. And so that's going to have an impact that I don't think we can calculate yet. And there's only so much the Fed can do. You know, Paul, we V'd up on the stock market primarily because people said, oh, we're going to get past the pandemic, number one. Number two, the Fed and the government stuck $4 trillion into the economy. We basically doubled our federal spending in 2020 to try to paper over this virus scam, and now you have this thing thrown up at us, and I don't know how that's going to affect people. That affects people's enthusiasm. So people are running scared now, and so it's a bit of an unknown. And the market is coming up into this area. They call it a supply zone, where right before it crashed, there was a lot of people that bought, and it's called trap buyers. And so when you come back to an area that were formerly a lot of trap buyers, people that kind of hung out the whole way back are going to say, thank you, God, for getting me out whole. I'm getting out. I'll never trade in the stock market again. I promise you. Okay. And then that usually rolls it over, and they roll it over. It's called the long goodbye. And you see that this is a standard thing if we think the economy is not going to come back. So that's what we have to be vigilant on. And the same with oil too. Oil over $30 brings back the oil producers in the United States. So we'll see oil going from 38 back down to $30 here fairly soon. Now, the good news, though, is gold, silver, and precious metals, I think, are going to continue to get bid. So, as I always say, there's always a bull market somewhere. And so there's opportunities, and there's going to be selective economic opportunities. So let me explain. I live in South Orange County in California. And, many parts of the state, people are fed up, they're leaving the state. But people that want to stay in the state are actually leaving areas like LA and San Francisco and moving down into my area. You can't get a home for sale that stays on the market here, even now, even this week, for more than a day, because people are desperate to leave those cities that they realize they can't be saved. And then people are bailing out. So the next area you look at is, we talked about this before too, it's called the vitamin D belt. So anything south of San Francisco and south of Washington, D.C. is that the viral infections, influenza types, are less deadly in general, because it's warmer, there's more sun, people are more spread out, and so they're healthier, and plus the disease has to fight harder to spread. And so you're going to see a migration north to south. You're going to see a migration from cities out to exurbs, and I don't think you'll see any business investing in a city that allowed their police force to be stood down and to destroy an investment that these companies are going to make in their town. Insurance doesn't cover all this stuff. People think, oh, the insurance will pay for this. There are a lot of these small and mid-sized businesses have no insurance at all, because there are exclusions in the policy regarding these things, because they're unknowable, to the insurer in terms of the catastrophic loss. The insurance would be catastrophically high if they can get it. So that's why in 3 short weeks, I went from being fairly bullish to a lot more cautious. And we're just going to have to wait and see. I think I don't know what the next thing they're going to throw at us. I saw an asteroid was coming. maybe that's coming up next, Paul.
We could get locusts even in America. Who knows? Bob, let me hear, folks. This is Bob Kudla with TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's TradeGeniusAcademy.com, and he's running some great specials. If you want to learn, in other words, what you hear him say. The market, to learn how to trade in the market, you can't be weak. You have to be confident, and you can get the tools to do that through Trade Genius Academy, and he can help you. The phone number to call is 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. And he's running some Father's Day specials this month that are great, so you want to check that out. Go to his website at www.tradegeniusacademy.com. There you see those Father's Day specials. That's TradeGeniusAcademy.com. He's got the best value. He's got the basic trading. We'll get into that in a minute. Bob, I want a couple things here that you're talking about. When this whole thing fell apart, and I'm just talking about when coronavirus hit, we went shelter in place, everybody freaked out. The stock market went from 29.5 to 19.5. We're back to 26.2, and even though this could be, like you say, some of those folks that if they'd have bailed then, they would have lost their livelihood on their shirt, have now got a chance to get out now. But there's also going to be selective buyers who know that, and this is that moment where if you're going to play it for the long haul, maybe you buy when some of these folks start to dump some stock. And the hardened traders will stay in there. But, you've got a great point. This is a key point. It is a miracle. I'm going to say that Trump's policy of stimulus package to the bottom up is working as far as keeping this thing afloat. The last thing we needed was we were opening back up. Everybody was going back out. People are back going into restaurants again slowly. Things are starting to move. The last thing we needed was this rioting, this truckloads of bricks set in and organized rioting, which really don't, I think you said it exactly, stick it to Trump, but they're sticking it to themselves when they do this. And so gold, silver, and some of those precious metals are probably going to stay up there. And this is why if they trade with you, they would need to understand which markets is food going to keep going up? Should people invest in food or meat, or is there some kind of staple they could get into?
Yeah, there are some of those stocks that are out there. We've been watching them. Some of these supply disruptions are not really caused because we can't grow enough yet. A lot of it was, the virus kind of messing up the supply chains a little bit. So, but we're watching it to see if there's anything that's going to be of interest that will have, material effect that you can trade it with. A lot of the stuff in the food area is in the futures market. So, there's a few things in the stock market we get, and there's a few producers out there. There's also a few like butchers and stuff like that are processors that you can trade. We're watching them right now to see if there's opportunities, but so far they're kind of on the back burner for me. But if food prices continue to go up, it's really going to put the Fed in a bad way, because you can't print food, and if you start debasing your currency and you have to live on the food, it's going to be a big problem, and not so much for the United States, but around the world. But that has a habit of causing discomfort in the U.S. too. If China goes hungry and they're devaluing their currency, and then they're in a trade war with us and we're not providing them food, who knows how they would lash out? What would you do as a hungry person, right? So I think there's some of the things that are, I pray that food prices do not become an issue anytime soon, because I think that is going to be the toughest environment for many Americans to deal with, because it's something that's so foreign to us, not having enough to eat. So, but we're going to keep an eye on it and see what happens. I think more likely the fact is that we're going to have a little bit of deflation, a little bit of inflation happening in different sectors at the same time. So it's really going to be a matter of, I would call, weaving into the right sectors.
Do you politically now? Obviously, this is a very politically charged period. We're 5 months away from the election. I mean, there's no. Is Trump going to win this election hands down, or is he going to get bloated? Is he going to get blamed for this whole thing? Hillary Clinton was on MSNBC the other night with Rachel Maddow and was saying, it's Trump and Russia. She said, why don't we should just forget Trump, she said, and let's just go team up with China and let's just work with them. Stuff like that is being said is so ridiculous. Do you think that Trump is in trouble big time here, or is the American people going to lay this entire blame, the riots, the coronavirus, and all this on Trump?
No. You can see the polling data. Believe it or not, they have Biden winning, right? But since this rioting has morphed into, these protests have morphed into this rioting, Biden's numbers are falling. So what that tells me is that, independents are sitting there saying, if I live in a town that's controlled by Democrats and somebody that is violent, they're going to stand down the police and everything I own could be taken from me without my ability to defend myself. Or, sometimes Trump is a weirdo and he says weird things, but he's going to keep me safe. You'd pick Trump every day of the week. And I think you're seeing that. And all you have to do is look. I think they should do a graph, gun sales to Trump popularity. Trump gun sales are going through the roof right now. And I think, that just tells you that, the soccer mom may say all the right things. I saw somebody put a sign up today saying, the soccer moms will have a sign, independent soccer moms will have a sign in their front yard that says, hate doesn't belong here. At the same time, behind her door, she has 2 shotguns and a rifle. Okay?
Well,
and she's scared to go out.
Bob, just to that point, yesterday we had here, I live in West Lafayette, Indiana. Between West Lafayette and Lafayette, Indiana, the Twin Cities, the river divides us. There's 175,000 people live here. Purdue University, it's a research community. It's a great economy with Caterpillar plant and Subaru plant and all this other stuff. It's really one of the top cities in America to live in. But when they rioted the other night, tear gas, they're breaking out windows of the courthouse, 10 businesses were looted. It got really serious. The next day, which was yesterday, we got a tweet from our homeowners association, and we live in the suburbs, okay, a nice suburb. We got a tweet that said, look, this is just a FYI, the police has just let us know, it's a rumor, but that the suburbs are going to be targeted. Just want to let you know, you need to be vigilant to protect you, your home, and your property. I never dreamed in a million years that I would get that text. And I'm sitting there looking at my wife saying, can you believe this? The police are telling us, you better figure out a way to protect yourself. This is not the America I grew up in. And that, I think that in itself sends a message out to the American people. We got to have law and order. What happened to George Floyd was a disastrous, murderous act. But that's not what the police are all about, and you got to do swift justice. I think they just arrested the other 3 officers now and charged them with aiding and abetting. We've got to get back to normal again, don't we, Bob? Can we get there, or is it politically motivated to keep bringing more and more waves of chaos?
Hey, look, you're dealing with people that don't believe in God, okay? So, you have the bishop of the Episcopal Church who was more worried about Trump holding a Bible in his hand than she was about the people willing to burn down his church. She also is pro-abortion. So black lives obviously don't matter to her, because how many black lives are murdered before they even get a chance to enjoy life? And so, those are the people that are moral scolds. Okay, so they try to replace they replace God pretty effectively in the public square, and then they're getting continuously more and more shrill problems for us to be, corralled and told what to do. And I was joking, I think I even been joking with you, and I said now that the COVID virus thing it becomes scammy, is that what's next, an asteroid? But I never could imagine this was going to be the next thing. And so they just keep trying to do things. And when this doesn't work, they're going to get angrier, Paul. You just have to look how communists have taken over every other country in the world. Okay, they don't try to beat you in the ballot box. They literally try to beat you. And then what they do then is they restructure, and you have this society with a whole different set of totalitarians. So they're not going to go. They have to be defeated. And I don't know what that looks like. And hopefully this next election will put us on firmer footing with President Trump in charge, and then maybe we can make some more structural changes to it. But look, the urban community has been set adrift. Okay, I look on the conservative side and say, look, we probably ignore them, but the political left has destroyed them. And so that needs to be fixed. If we love thy brother, we better start loving them. And I'm not talking about just throwing money at them and tell them to come back to the ballot box. So that's the area you have to fix it. We have to create a community for those folks that they feel that they have a stake in the country. The police brutality thing is just a cry for help. And then these people took advantage of these people. And, to the point where a lot of them were trying to point them out to the cops, And so I think that's what's going to happen, Paul, and I don't know how long that takes till people stop yelling at each other and start listening to each other and trying to find constructive. But somebody has to get beaten in the election strong enough that will allow that healing to happen.
Folks, Bob Kudla here with words of wisdom. There's no doubt about that. Bob Kudla from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's TradeGeniusAcademy.com. You can call Bob and find out about these great programs he has at 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. And he's running some great specials right now. And Bob, you've been, in the midst of all of this, you've been having a very successful year in picking the right stocks. I mean, it's because of your global view, understanding of world economies and how things supply and demand, and all the stuff we learned in high school. I mean, that's stuff that I learned in high school, just simple economics of supply and demand. But you take it a whole step further, how to identify the stocks within a geopolitical system. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, we think we've created the premier trading system out there for normal people, that you can know nothing about trading, and we'll get you up to speed in fairly short order. So we'll train you how the system works, how you can make money trading. And then once you get up to speed, we also provide you with tools which you then can find trade opportunities on your own. And then in addition to that, we also provide trade signals for you. I sent you a chart of the last 10 or 12 trades we took, so you can see those. The ones in green were wins.
Yep.
And then also some of the new people, I had more of them. I could have sent you a bunch over where a new trader, 84% win rate on her trades. And another trader sent me a note the other day saying, this well exceeded my expectations. I didn't know anything about trading, and basically paid for the whole year's worth of service in my first month with you. And those are our goals. Our goal is to make people confident trading. There's always opportunities, to make money in the market, regardless of what happens. You can go short the market, you can go long the market, or you can trade things that are going up that haven't been going up. So that's what we do. And we just created a system. We call it the Profit Ribbon System. And we give you training classes on it as part of the service, so that very easily digestible lessons that get you up to speed pretty fast. And then we're in the chat rooms all day. So if you have questions about a trade, or you're trying to wonder what my logic was behind something, you just simply have to ask. And in addition to that, we created a room called the VIP room, we're talking to people like you and I are talking right now, in addition to a chat, for people that may want to trade some more advanced options or want to do more day trading or trade futures. So we help you with that as well. And it's a really powerful system, and it works for trading cryptocurrencies, stocks, or the futures market. The same rules apply. So it looks at money flow, price action, and then, basically we're trading what's called the ends in. So if it gets too far away from the center line and we see money flow coming in, you buy it, and then vice versa, you see it starting to exit, you get out. And that's how we help people make money nearly every day in the market.
And Bob, also, as you're talking about this, folks, again, go to his website at www.tradegeniusacademy.com. That's www.tradegeniusacademy.com, or pick up the phone and call at 1-800-949-1408 and get enrolled today and get started. Really, it might be a great time to get started, because there's going to be winners and losers in the market. I think they're going to be clearly defined in this volatile economy. I think whenever things are real stable and everything's just smoothly moving, it's hard to pick who the winner and losers are. It seemed it would be to me. Now, here's a question for you, Bob. It seems like the communists knew where to put their players. University professors with tenure that can never be removed, long-term government employees called the deep state that you can't even hardly fire, judges that have lifetime appointments, and members of Congress that have no term limits. And they don't care about all the other positions, because all of them can be voted in or out or thrown out or fired. They have locked down the deep heart core. They've almost put us in a cardiac arrest. And unless there's some serious reckoning, and I'm going to make a prediction that there's another wave of chaos coming. I call it my reverse curse. If you look in the Bible, you have 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They're the white horses of taking over the country, or taking over a global world order. The red horse was chaos and taking peace from the earth and riots and war. The black horse is the economy, and the pale horse is disease and plagues. We got hit in reverse. We got hit with the plague first. Then we got hit with the black horse of the economy. Then we're getting hit with the riots of the violence. And next, the controllers are going to try to take it out. And they might even try to bomb the White House or something absolutely that ridiculous. But they're trying to take down Trump any way they can. I believe that we will survive it, and there will be a reckoning that Trump will actually start the process in the second term, arresting these players, these deep state players who have done so much damage. Do you got any take on that? And will that be part of the way we fix this insanity that seems to be becoming America?
Yeah, I think I don't think Trump's going to wait till the second term, because nobody knows the future, right? So he's already starting to poison the well. So he's going after social media now, and he has Rosenstein up there today in front of the Senate. He had the acting DNI carried the water for the guy getting confirmed, so he declassified everything, and I think he's going to put the Democrats on defense all the way into the election. This whole thing with Antifa, the NSA has been tracking. We have no idea of how many FISA warrants, right, between foreign countries funding inside the United States, and who they're funding and who they're talking to, and so I think a lot of that's in action. Look, they started arresting people already, in terms in Pittsburgh and in New York and some other places. And look, they're going to start rolling up these Antifa people, and they're going to just keep moving it higher and higher. And look, this virus thing has changed how we go to school. So a lot of these universities now, and a lot of these state institutions now, that all this money's going to get tight because they blew up their cities, those majors are going to get wiped away. Those people are going to lose their jobs. So there is things that happen that will benefit society from the things. What is it? God makes things good that were meant for evil, right? So,
right.
These people are, they try to harm the United States, and they turn around and kill their tax revenue and their job goes away. So I think you're going to see that, and look, Trump's not hiring any more federal employees.
No.
And he's cutting out. He's cutting, for the most part, he's cutting out, hollowing out a lot of these staff positions, right, that interface with him, and he's not replacing those jobs. And so I think a lot of this stuff's already happening, Paul, and it needs to start. I think Trump is a master of timing. And I think one of the reasons why they're trying to do this major distraction here is to throw him off his game, because now he's going for the jugular on these guys.
Bobby, that's another great point again, and I think you're right that the process is already beginning. We're going to have a blood moon over the entire nation on the 4th of July. I don't think people understand that those are not by accident. You remember who puts the blood moons, the lunar eclipses in play? God himself. And he said he would send prophetic signs. I believe it's a warning, but it's not a warning to me, to you, Bob, or the good people of America. I think it's a warning to those that are trying to destroy this very republic. And there is a silver lining in it. Matter of fact, this blood moon will have silver in the moon, in different parts of it. It won't be completely blood red. Part of it will be red, part of it will be silver. Well, maybe we can find that silver lining. Well, one thing you can do, folks, is go to TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Just go to www.TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Pick up the phone and call Bob at 1-800-949-1408. Get enrolled. Get started. Put a small investment, really, on the opportunity to get in control of your own destiny. Let the entrepreneur spirit come alive in you. That's what made America great, and that's what will make it great again. Bob, I appreciate you being with us. Is there this special, this Father's Day special? It's a good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great deal. I may not find a silver lining for you, but I'll help you find silver stocks.
All right, Bob. We appreciate you being with us. This is a great dialogue. That's why they love when you come on, Bob. They love when you come on. It's always very good, practical, down to earth, and real world stuff. And so we're glad you're with us. And thank you for being a partner of our ministry. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time, folks. Stay right here. We'll be back with more today. God bless.